Ah, the world of traffic. You want two roads to meet and cross one another, but you also want traffic to flow freely at that point. What a conundrum. If only there were some sort of intersection that flowed continuously, where traffic all moves in conjunction with one another to get around each other to their destination. If only there was some sort of a continuously flowing device of some... I got it. The continuous flow intersection. That's what you were thinking of, wasn't it? That's what it was. Everyone, today we're going to be building the continuous flow intersection. It's a bit of a traffic miracle that does not require an overpass and uses several lights in conjunction with one another to move traffic in a high-density area. Everyone, I'm Yumble. Let's check it out. This will be the location of our continuous flow intersection. The reason that cities go to this in real life would be for, let's say, a high-density intersection that's maybe on its way to becoming an interchange, or maybe there's not enough traffic to warrant an interchange yet, but you still need to solve the traffic problem that you have at hand. This is a very high-flow intersection, at-grade intersection, so it doesn't require any overpasses, no underpasses, ramps, nothing like that. It's all at-grade. And it's rather technical compared to what I usually do, so I'm curious to see how this comes out with the finished product. But you will need some custom roads to do it the way I do it. You can do it with vanilla roads too, but I'm going to be using some custom roads to save a bit of space. And also, I'll be using Fine Road Tools and Fine Road Anarchy. We're going to turn Anarchy on, turn off road bending. That's a good start. And the star of the show today is actually going to be Node Controller. I'll show you that in just a second. This is a new way of constructing this intersection. I've seen other people do it, but not quite like this. So what I'm starting with is actually our displaced left turn. This is going to become the left turn from this road. It'll all make sense in a moment. But what I'm doing is going 1 unit away from our standard 6-lane road and then connecting it right to the middle. It's going to get worse and worse before it gets better. Don't worry. The reason I turned off road bending is so we can just get a straight shot, because these roads, once they're in, we're going to want them to look straight ahead towards this intersection, which we are about to absolutely transform in just a second here. So we've made a cool star. That's nice and fun. What I'm going to do next is actually reduce the 6-lane road down to a 2+3 road, and it's going to be a no parking road. I'm using these are called Ultimate American Roads, I believe, in the Steam Workshop. Once again, I'll try to link them. But we're gonna move this 6-lane road down to a 5-lane road to make it a little smaller. And that's gonna look all crazy for a second. I'll be able to fix that in a moment, I think. But ignore the mess for now. Think of the pinwheel roundabout. Think of how bad that looked before I got my hands on it. So we're going to end up offsetting all of these. We're going to shift these outer roads, the slip lanes, and oh, well, you'll see the context in a moment. But I'm going to look at the dark blue node. That is this one here. I'm going to shift it to the left. I believe 24 will do it. 24. Nice. And if you'll notice, the other end of this one looks a bit funky. All we have to do to solve that is click on it. And that'll solve that issue. So we've got that nice... Now it looks quite parallel. I don't know if it's exactly parallel, but it's okay. It's going to work for our purposes. So negative 24 is the answer for this configuration. I'm going to go around and clean this up and show you how it looks. So here we have something. This is a single node that has been expanded and is accepting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 connections. I believe that is the max. I think that a node actually cannot physically accept more than 8 connections. Alright, I'm wrong. Oh, nope, it actually can't. It literally will not let me add more. So we have maxed out this node to its... not its size limit, but its connectivity limit. This is it. It's also enormous. But we'll see how that all pans out in a moment. I'll mark it up and make it pretty and all that. Here is what's going on with the node controller. For the displaced left turns, they are all at, for instance, this kind of turquoise one here. Maybe we'll call it that. Aquamarine. Fight about it in the comments what color this is. But right here, 10079. I've put the I've put the offset to 46 meters and the shift to negative 24.8. I found that those measurements work best here. Your results may vary. I don't want to... I want it to be as far away as possible without looking asymmetrical, and also if I go 1 unit further, it seems to get rid of that curb, that nice curb that we have, that are going to form these beautiful islands in the middle. Beautiful is relative. Also, the other nodes are brought back too. So these are back to 46 and shifted over, the left turns. The large roads are 40 units out. So the red one, for example, is 40 meters offset. Any less than that, and it's a little tight. The goal here being to have the right turns that are going to happen be somewhat gentle, and there's also going to be left turns happening that I don't want to be at 90 degrees. But the size of this is correct. It's a big interchange. It's a big intersection, and this is how it works. Now we only have to connect the roads back to the left turns back to their roads of origin. At this point, I've connected 3 of the 4 side roads. You can see that these roads are now going back to their connection at the main roads. Let me show you how I do that. So I'm going to take the same network, this asymmetrical road, which is currently backwards there. We're going to fix it in just a second. I've measured out 21 units from the middle. This doesn't have to be exact by any means. I've just picked this somewhat arbitrarily because it works. Here's a funny thing about shifting the nodes, though. This road thinks that that's 180 degrees off the end of it because it thinks it's going to the middle like that, when really it is not anymore. A good way to overcome that is to just go back to a road guideline that's parallel and just pick that and use some anarchy to trim the road wherever you want. Delete the extra roads. Here's the trick I always use on highways. Ready? Freeform road tool. Click the end of the road we're setting up. We're going to connect it to the main road, and I've picked a 27 meter, so a 3 by 3 or 27 meter setup. So just freeform road tool straight off the end, and then hold shift to see the units with precision engineering. Click. It's going to make a mess. We're going to fix the mess. Delete the little node. Delete the delete the road there. We're going to re-add that road as it was, but better. Easy. And then a bit of node controller. So just click this kind of awkward looking section here and hit make ends straight. And that works for now. That may change in the future, but it's correct for now. We're also going to turn this road backwards. So just a bit of explanation. What we're really getting here... Oh, the whole thing needs to be backwards. There we go. What we're really getting is a right turn slip lane, which you're about to see me set up in a moment, as well as 2 left turns that stay out of the middle. Very important. Let me show you some lane connectors. We're going to open up Traffic Manager and go to Lane Connectors, and I think this is going to help everyone visualize what's really going on here pretty vividly. Right now it's a bit of a mess, but just know that off of one of the main roads, the left 2 lanes go straight across, and the right lane is a slip lane that gives you a right-hand turn. I'm going to do that on this side as well. So the main road straight across, 2 lanes into 2 lanes. Lane math, right? Lane math. Now the left turns, oh, we can do this side as well. The left turns are all handled on these little islands that are off the side. Oh, and you too. There are a lot of connectors on this setup. This is one of the more involved setups I've ever seen. And you go right. Cool. So the left turns use lane math as well, where we're going left and left into those 2 lanes there. Not the far left, but the closer main road left from the offshoot. So we can do that on all sides. The left goes there. The left goes there. And of course, this is not the only intersection in the whole thing. This is just sort of the primary focus. This is where most of the action is going to be happening. This is where most of the traffic is going to be moving to and from. Is that all of them? Perfect. That's all the left. That is actually the entire setup for this thing. So you can see by taking the left turns out of the center, it's avoiding the entire crossing traffic. Normally, if you're turning left from here, imagine from this point, you're crossing over several extra lanes, so now the straight throughs and the lefts can actually happen at the same time. Let's take you to one of the arms here. So I've upgraded this connecting road to a 5+3 asymmetrical. The reason being, I want to have 2 left-hand turns that correspond with these, with the left turns of this asymmetrical road, which is the left turn through the intersection. It's a little bit crazy. I never could have thought of this on my own. Believe me. So this is the slip lane. We want that to go to the right lane. The reason I picked a 5+3 is because this one is going to lose 2 to the left to go back down to 3 on our 4+3 road. And this one is going to be gaining 1 and 2 from the 4+3. So that is how each of the external, the legs look, essentially. You can shift this around as much as you want using Node Controller. You can also play with the lane math on the whole thing. But what I really want is 2 left turns. If you're using this thing, it implies that there's a lot of left-turning traffic that you want to get out of the equation. On a side note, you can also just make a half. Like, imagine if only one of these directions, imagine if only the west and east sides had the displaced left. That's valid as well. You don't need to do the displaced left on all sides. I'm just doing the optimal out-of-control shenanigans version. I think it's going to be really cool to watch by the end. Let me go around and do the rest of the lane connectors, and then we will start working on the light. And here it is, completely set up. The continuous flow interchange, fully operational with a functional traffic light setup on it, and of course special appearance from intersection marking tool, and some decorations to make it look a bit more palatable, I guess. So here, to discuss the light, as mentioned earlier, it's a 2-phase light in the middle. So there are 2 phases. The lefts from a given direction and the straight through from a given direction are allowed to go all at the same time. We'll see it actually change for this side here in just a moment. The left turn traffic and the straight through traffic all has to stop at the same time. The right turns are entirely free-flowing, so any car that shows up in the right lane is allowed to go. And here we see the displaced left turn doing its work. So that traffic is allowed to turn left over this traffic because it's already out of the way. And that is essentially it. It's a very simple 2-phase light in the middle, in theory. What I've decided to do, for reasons not necessarily beyond my control, but I think if I extended the legs of the displaced turn to be a bit further, I think I could probably do 2 phases for the whole thing. For this kind of compact version of the whole thing, the way the light works is actually in 4 phases. So 2 of those phases, so state 2 and state 4, affect this light here. The middle is a 2-phase light. Phase 4 is for the left turns on this. And then phase 2 is for the light here. So you'll see, ready? We'll start at the beginning. State 1 looks like this. These sides are both allowed to go. So the left turn and the through traffic. On this side, the left turn and the through traffic, that's all gravy. This light remains red as the left turning traffic waits to be allowed into the left turning bay. Once this goes to state 2, this light is going to turn red. Let's get it there. There we go. So now this light is turned red, and the left-turning traffic is allowed into the left-turning bay with efficient timing, with different timings. I could probably even get all of it out of there, but the way it is right now, there's always a little bit left, but that's okay. That'll vary depending on the traffic density and also the length of the displaced left-turn legs in this whole situation. But that's the light. It's 2 phases in the middle. So I've got state 1 and 2 are the same, and state 3 and 4 are the same for the center, and the subphases are to allow traffic into the left turn, which will stop the oncoming traffic. So yeah, there's a lot to it. In theory, it's a 2-phase light. In reality, I found it worked better as 2 phases with kind of 2 little subphases for these guys. And of course, the markings are to just show the movements of traffic a bit more clearly, all of the left turns, all that jazz. And some decorations. All in all, I would say that this is a very efficient intersection, though not convenient to build at all. In City Skylines, this is almost overwhelming to build. I don't know if I'll use it very frequently, if ever, but it is a great option if you're trying to flow a lot of traffic and you don't want to build an overpass. That's really that's the bottom line with this. The way that cities use it in real life is when they're not ready to build an overpass or build a full grade separated interchange, they will displace the left turns, usually only on 2 legs. So maybe on the one side of the main road and the other side of the main road, they'll displace the lefts, and then the other 2 are more normal light cycles. So it ends up being probably a 3-phase light, I would assume. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, very fun to build. The big takeaway of this is that the node controller shift option is incredibly powerful. If you're about to make an intersection that's too close to another intersection, consider sending the road right to the center and then shifting it out so that it actually is just one intersection, which is better for the node system in city skylines, in my opinion. The game really doesn't like nodes that are too close together. They will act up, they will clip, they will look all kinds of weird. But everyone, thank you for checking out the continuous flow intersection. It's a fun to build once. I don't know how many times I'm going to build this in my life, but very fun to do once. Glad I can check it off my list. Everyone, thank you for hanging out. I've been Yumble. I stream twice a week on Twitch. I try to make 2 YouTube videos a week as well, so of course feel free to subscribe here. We have an awesome community Discord as well. Post your builds, ask questions, talk traffic, all that kind of stuff. That's all I've got for today. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. I've been Yumble. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.